Okay, and we should be live here in a moment. We're about 30 seconds or so late. That's close. That's close. And I'm going to try to find the show here on my iPad so that I can monitor this puppy. And there we go. Make sure that we've got audio. We should be live here in a moment. We're about... Yes, it sounds like we do have audio. And so this is a semi-emergency broadcast. I just scheduled it for today, earlier today, and so not a lot of notice on this, and hopefully the notifications will go out. And I'm monitoring the time, and we're going to do a time check on the Spring Drive Stunner right there, the SBGA231, to see what the time is like, because we're going to be changing the time. We're going to have daylight savings time kicking in on Sunday. So we're going to be checking the time to see what that's like, because we're going to be recalibrating when we do daylight savings time. Now on this 9F Stunner, I'm not going to recalibrate, because I'm just going to use the function where I can move the hour hand 1 hour. I'm going to use that function. So I'm going to leave the 24-hour hand on what I call the real time, not daylight savings time. So this one will be a piece of cake to change, and this one is still within a second, by the way. So we don't even have to check the timing on this one. It's just insanely accurate. But we will check and see how accurate the 231 Stunner is and see how that's doing. And we're going to talk about heavy use watches today. And we're going to talk about our steel watches collectibles. Back in the day when I started wearing watches, high-end watches 40 years ago, when we were wearing our steel watches, and usually Rolexes back then, we didn't think of them as collectibles for sure. We just thought of them as a watch to wear. And this whole collectible thing, I think, is a relatively new phenomenon, the last 10 years or so probably. So we'll share a little bit about that, and I think a lot of it has to do with the internet. And especially collecting steel watches. My goodness, we would have never dreamed of doing that back in the day. Now, some people were collecting like complicated Patek Philippe's and things like that, and there was a little bit of that going on. And any watches that people were collecting were always precious metal. So these people having like a dozen stainless steel watches in a collection, in a box, and like displaying them real proudly and all, here's my collection of steel stunners, that's a new phenomenon. That's a new thing. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's see, Carlos. I do not miss when I lived in a place with DST. Panama does not have DST. Oh my gosh, it's such a pain to have to change the watches and clocks and all. It's just ridiculous. I mean, let's talk about a waste of time. Jason's in the house, and he says hi to everyone. There aren't too many in here yet. We've only got about 6 folks in here so far, so we'll see if some other folks drift on in. In the meantime, let's go ahead and do an initial time check. Let's get that, and then let's get a side-by-side going here. Let me adjust a little bit here so we can see the Eastern time there, and adjust this watch. Okay, so we can see right there, you can make the judgment. It's definitely fast. The 231 Stunner is definitely fast. And we're going to do a freeze frame here so that we can see exactly how fast. What I'll do is I'll wait until it gets to straight up at the 12 o'clock straight up marker, and I'll freeze it. And then we'll see how many seconds the Spring Drive diver has picked up since the last savings time change, since we changed away from savings time. So let me see if I can do it right when it's straight up there. Bam. Okay, that's pretty much spot on. Okay, so we're looking at 4:34 and 55 seconds. So it looks like I'm exactly 5 seconds fast. So I've picked up 5 seconds from the time we switched off of daylight savings time back in November. Maybe somebody that's a genius with math can calculate how many seconds a month on average that is. So I've picked up 5 seconds since we changed over time in, I think it was back in November when we changed off of daylight savings time. So maybe you can, maybe somebody can calculate that and let us know where we stand on all that. But that is not bad, I shall say, to only pick up 5 seconds in several months' time. So we're looking at November, December, January, February. So yeah, that's not bad. That's a little more than a second a month, I think, I picked up. Let's see here. Jason says, question for Craig in the group. Thoughts on the Explorer 2 42 millimeter last edition, too big? Let us know the size of your wrist. Personally, I like the standard Explorer. I like the straight up Explorer. And I really like the 36 mil one. Personally, it's just a great all around watch. But depends on what you're going to be doing with the watch. If you're going to be wearing it mainly for sport and you want something bigger, I mean, how can I say not? That one right there is a 44 mil watch. Now that is a 44 mil watch that wears more like a 40 or 42 because it's titanium and because of the shape of the lugs and the design of the bracelet and so forth. It wears exceptionally comfortable for the size watch that it is. So as all these things, I mean, you really need to try it. See, touch, feel, try it, and make sure you really like it on wrist. At least to me, I wear my watches 24/7. I always have a watch on. So any watch I buy, I want to make sure it's super comfortable on wrist. I mean, it just has to be, because I buy them to be on wrist. I don't buy them to be in a box, as a collection or whatever, or in a safety deposit box or whatever. I buy the watches to absolutely wear. And so for me, that's a huge priority, is how comfortable on wrist they are, what they look like. I want them to be gorgeous, absolutely. And I want the dial to be stunning when I look at it. I want to be like, wow. I want to be just wowed every time I look at it, which happens with these Grand Seikos. So I have certain criteria that I have to realize in these watches. Now that just reminds me, I didn't hook up the other camera over there, so I can't give you a close-up of this today, unfortunately. I didn't hook up the close-up camera. Oh, well, at least I can give you close-ups of the 231 from time to time. There you go. Let's see. Carlos has experience with some of these watches. He says, to me, it's on the big side, but depends on what you like. It is a great watch anyway. Carlos has a big wrist, too. So if he says it's a little big, then yeah. Jason says, thanks for the input. My interest in watches is gone. Just found collecting going nowhere and concentrating more on my photography, but thought I would check in for old time's sake what to do with so many watches to lose cash. Well, I mean, if you've got a bunch of watches sitting around, yeah, and you're not wearing them, I would definitely liquidate. The market's still pretty good, so I would definitely liquidate while you can. That would be my advice on all that. And yeah, having a whole bunch of watches sitting around, I think, is of little benefit. Let's see here. David Williams in the house. New Explorer 2 too big at 42 millimeters. Better at 40 millimeter, in my honest opinion. There you go. Let's see. Carlos, my wrist is 7.5 inches. Yeah, that's a good size wrist. Mine is in between 7.25 and 7.5, depending on the time of the year. In the summertime, it can be as big as 7.5. But like right now, it's probably closer to 7.25. So in the winter time, let's see, what else? I want to give you an update. Well, I don't have much of an update, but let me go here to the The Stunner, the gold Stunner, I have no, the update is I have no news. I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing. I've heard crickets as far as that watch being available to purchase at Little Treasury Jewelers and whether or not he's going to have one or not. I have heard crickets. There is one on Chrono 24 for $23,500. Would come all the way from China. I'm not going to pay that kind of money. The watch lists at $25,000, and I don't really want to buy it from an entity in Japan and have it shipped to me. I want to buy box and papers from a real AD like Steve. So if I buy one, I will buy it probably from Steve. And that's an if. That's definitely an if, because I've heard nothing as far as whether or not he's going to get one or not. Let's see. Would never make anywhere near my money back. Hurts too much to think about the prospect. Yeah, watches are not good investments. I mean, watches are not a good store of value. It's not somewhere to put money that you expect to get back. And I don't care what watches you're buying. I don't care if you're buying a Daytona. It's still not a good store of value. You don't know what the values are those are going to be 10 years from now. Especially people that are paying over list price for those things, I think a lot of them are going to get stuck. Because the Daytona is an interesting story in and of itself. Back in the day, nobody wanted those things. They sat in the dealer's, display cabinets for a year or two. They didn't sell. And you could get a heavy discount on them. Nobody wanted those watches because they're not really very practical. Unless you're a race car driver or something, there's really no reason to have a Daytona. And so all these people that are paying a ton of money for these things, and in fact some of them collecting multiple copies of it, I think that might not end well. So, especially if they're steel. Let's see. Yes, mine are 6.5 inches, although I love the way my new Seamaster 300M fits. But have to say the case and bracelet, we'll see. I think those have the way the lugs are shaped and all, and the way the bracelet's designed, I think that helps with those, with the 300M. Yeah. I would stick with the 300M. I don't know that I would get the Explorer 2. I think you got a great piece right there. Watch investment is stupidity. Oh well. And by the way, the market is rebounding today. And last I checked, Bitcoin is rebounding today, big time. So I bought some more Bitcoin on this big dip. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know I was buying up a little more Bitcoin. Not financial advice on this channel, but I was acquiring some more Bitcoin when it took that big dip down. And it may take another big dip down before the halving, between now and May, when the halving happens. It might take one more nice dip down. It might go down as low as $7,000. I don't know. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. But it might. But then again, it might not. Let's see. Carlos, what we know is that usually what it seems a good investment to everybody usually is not. There you go. I think the watch craze is dying. It's getting boring. John in the house. Well, yeah. Let's look at other things. There are other things in life other than watches. You can get a nice pair of shoes. I mean, I've talked about Russell Moccasin Company and the shoes they make, custom made to fit your feet. Super, super comfortable. I love moccasin style shoes. I actually have some moccasin style shoes on right now. That's just the construction. A moccasin construction means the leather comes up from underneath your foot and comes up around, and then they sew on that piece on the top. That's the difference between the regular shoes. The leather comes down, and then it's sewn onto the sole, right? The leather doesn't wrap completely under your foot and come up, right? Like a moccasin style construction. So to me, the moccasin style construction shoes, you get high quality ones, they're really super, super comfortable. Most boat shoes, for example, are a moccasin style construction. Oh, Dan, the Danster's calling. Let's put him on speaker. Hey, I got you on speaker. I'm live on YouTube.
That's amazing.
I'm live on the I'm live on the YouTubes, and we were just talking about moccasin style construction shoes just this moment, and I've been trying to talk you into getting a pair for quite a while.
You know, what prompted this was my search for shoes that could be repaired, because I've had a real problem. Most of the factory shoes that come out, they're basically a disposable item. They look really pretty.
Yeah.
You wear them for a little while. Most shoes die after, if you wear tennis shoes every day, like a typical kid would, or an athlete goes walking. I know you walk for an hour a day at least every day. So you get about maybe 6 months to a year before they're not really comfortable like they were, and they're not as safe, frankly. If you were to get into a slick or oily area, you know.
Most of them are basically junk. They really are.
So I went to a shoe repair guy, and he said there's certain brands you can buy that are designed to be repaired and certain brands that are not designed to be repaired.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you tend to go and get stuff that can be repaired. So
and I also
it's cheap to get it repaired, but it's in the long run it's cheap.
I also have a lot of shoes in rotation, so you don't have to repair them as often if you've got a bunch in rotation. But anyway, I'm sure that's not why you called, but I'm going to and was it something urgent?
I was just going to comment on the Dow.
Oh yeah, we just talked about that too.
I think you have a couple $1 million in stock, and you were worried when it dropped, but you said you were going to hang in there because it's going to come back, and sure enough, it did.
Yeah, actually it came back, but actually I still have money on the sidelines, so I'm still not convinced. This could be what they call a dead cat bounce, and I'm still not convinced that we're out of the woods. And I think there could be other problems down the road. I think this virus thing was just a quick little thing, but I think there could be some other problems that could be more severe. So I actually have money on the sideline, as you know, Warren Buffett does as well. And so there you go.
You reminded me of that when I called to jokingly remind you that you had gone from a billionaire to a millionaire.
Yeah, right.
Today, and you said, "Au contraire, Dan, because of my Bitcoin holdings, that's not actually the case. You weren't totally affected by the Dow."
Right. It's a little slightly non-correlated asset. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to let you.
For someone who's wondering, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Have fun with your moccasin discussion.
Carry on. That's Dan McDermott. Dan McDermott calling in live. He's the editor in chief of the Warren County Report and the Frederick County Report, whatever. Anyway, down in Frederick County, Virginia, Warren County, Virginia. Dan McDermott, Dan P. McDermott. Follow him on social media for sure. Let's see here. Let me catch up on the chat. Let's see. My concern of the virus in markets is if it gets messy and Bernie becoming president, Carlos in the House. Yeah, I think that it looks like this coronavirus thing could have been much to do about nothing as far as the U.S. is concerned. It's a little bit early to say, but I think it's going to be a lot less of an impact than some people thought it was going to be. And of course, that's what the people in the stock market think. That's why it rebounded so much today. I think this virus thing is going to blow over. But I'm still don't think that I still think the market is overheated. I think that there could be some problems down the road here. So there's that. Let's see what else we got here. Bernie would be a disaster, John, in the House. Actually, the President of the United States actually can't do much. He's more a figurehead these days. It's the the elite power brokers and the heavy hitter lobbyists and the folks that control, it's the puppet masters. They really control things. It's not really the elected official. The president's only in for a maximum of 8 years. I mean, that's nothing. He doesn't have any time to do anything. It's the people that really control from behind the scenes that we have to worry about. Let's see. Going to my longtime hobby and investing more time into it instead of watches, and I'm now making some side money along with my regular business. Is that photography? Is that photography your longtime hobby? Yeah, it's good. I'm into photography, as you may know. Let's see. Hello, everybody. I happened to watch a video about tractor pull, sublime mix of people and pulling. How come you became such an expert photographer, Craig? You used to deal in cars. I'm not really what I would call an expert photographer. I've done a lot of photography, a lot of video work, and you learn a little bit over time, but it's more out of necessity because of the business that I'm in, that I cover events and all that to generate traffic to my website so that my sponsors get more business, so that my sponsors keep paying me. So, yeah, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I enjoyed the car business, and I enjoyed dealing in antique and collectible cars. I did that for a number of years, and that was always fun. I love those unusual vehicles. Let's see here. I sold my sub-no date for $2K over list to some idiot. Moved on to bigger and better things. Good move. Yeah, absolutely. When you can get out with a profit, I say do it. 2 cases in Florida, and Costco sold out in hours in Orlando. I'll tell you, I stocked up. I went to Costco on, was it Saturday? No, Friday. I went to Costco on Friday, and I stocked up, and I already had a lot of stock of the non-perishable items, but I stocked up some more. Yeah, because I figured people would be panicking, and that would happen. That would become a thing. David Williams in the house. Let's see. I love his 005 on that strap. That's a stunner. We showed that the other day. Let's go back to the Spring Drive, and let me see if I can pull up David's 005. Go back to my Flickr here and see if I can find it. Bear with me. I don't know if I have it tagged or not. If not, I should tag it. Yeah, I don't think I did. Just give me a second here. Give me a second. I will find it. I promise you, I will find that beauty, that stunner. Let me show you the photos I'm going through here right now. These are the photos of my 005 stunner, and down at the end, we're going to have David's stunner on the strap. Stunner on the strap. How cool is that? How cool is that? That's the 005 stunner on a Grand Seiko deployant strap. Super cool. That's this same watch, but on an actual official Grand Seiko dark brown alligator strap. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, photography is a lot of fun. It really is. I was into photography even when I was back in the car thing. We had to do a lot of photography. So I did a lot of photography then. So, yeah, I've been doing it my entire adult life, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And I enjoy, playing around with different lenses and different gear and all that sort of thing. Let's see here. Carlos is going to hit the road. Good afternoon from Annapolis, Maryland. There you go. Mr. Jones in the house. He's not far from the Stevester, Little Treasury Jeweler. I'm sure you've been to the Little Treasury. Little Treasury Jewelers. Let's do a quick check and see what Bitcoin is doing. We go back to the stunner, and then we'll flip back once this loads in on my computer. We will flip back. For some reason, it's loading slow. I guess too many orders coming in. Too many people buying Bitcoin. They can't keep up. I'm trying to go to pro.coinbase.com, by the way. That's the URL I'm going to. And it is slowly but surely loading in. But I want to wait and see when the graphs come in, and then I'll pull it up on the screen here for you. Assuming it does load in. It looks like we're at 89.43. It did give us the number, but the graphs are not there. And it says page unresponsive. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll show you what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. It doesn't show the graph, but we're looking at 89.43.15, up 5% in 24 hours. Let me reload this page and see if it'll come in. It's funny because the laptop, everything's hooked up with a Cat 5 cable, but I do get this problem from time to time when I'm streaming, because this Video Pro that I'm using to stream is a bandwidth hog. It loves to suck up the bandwidth for the stream. Let's see here, Craig. Craig, you are too modest. David, what a great watch. Hello, Carlos. David's watch is a stunner. I was shocked. This thing keeps saying it can't load. I was shocked when I saw it. I thought, well, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if I want the 005 on a strap, you know. I mean, I was like, you know. But then when I saw it, I'm like, wow, that thing pops. That thing really looks cool in that configuration. Let's bring it back up here again. It just, and in person, it looks a lot better. I mean, these watches just do not, photographs, I don't care who takes the photograph, it just not do justice to these watches. These Grand Seikos you have to see in person. You really do. That's the way. Oh, by the way, we didn't even really talk about the topic. The topic is heavy use watches, and the Spring Drive, because it in effect does not have a normal escapement, because of the way the mechanism is constructed that serves as the escapement, that movement is extremely robust. And because of the way it adjusts the timing on the fly, even as it gets older, when a normal watch would have to be serviced because it's losing time and so on and so forth, the Spring Drive adjusts itself and will keep running accurately for literally for decades. It's just really amazing, and it can take a lot of abuse as far as shock and so on just because of the way it's constructed. Now the 9F, the movement that's in this watch, I believe is even more robust. The way it's constructed, it just is amazing. And even, I don't know if Grand Seiko officially says it, but most experts say that you're going to be able to go 50 years before you have to service an 005 or any watch with the 9F movement. 50 freaking years. Of course, you're going to have to replace the battery every 3 years or so, but no major servicing for 50 years. And because of the way it's designed, I put a link in the description. You can go and read about it, but there's a whole lot of elements to it that it's designed to be extremely robust and extremely long-lasting, much more so than any other quartz movement, much more robust, much more well-made than even other high-end quartz movements. It's the 9F is really in a league of its own. So both of these watches, this particular watch here, which does have a screw-down crown, I could wear under any circumstances, under any kind of heavy use circumstance. And then, of course, the diver is extremely robust with that titanium, that grade 5 special alloy of grade 5 titanium. And again, with the way the movement is constructed, extremely robust, heavy use watch. So much more so than any Rolex. No Rolex can touch the durability of that puppy right there, and the longevity of it. That watch will literally go decades without being serviced, as will a Rolex. A Rolex will go multiple decades, probably 20 to 30 years easily. But that Grand Seiko Spring Drive will probably go 40 or 50 years without opening the case. Pretty amazing watch. Let's see here. Carlos, I believe you own a Datejust or Day-Date 36. Do you find that the date magnifier clutters the dial? Jason in the house. I think Carlos might have left the chat. Carlos has a Day-Date 40. I don't know if he has a 36 mil Day-Date. He has a Day-Date 40 in white gold. But I can tell you from years of having Rolexes with the date magnifier, they never bothered me. I don't think you pay attention to them after a while. I think they're just there. They don't bother me one way or the other. Let's see. I came on late. What do you think of the Baselworld from here in Europe? We see it as not too important anymore. Seiko left months ago anyway. Well, Baselworld was kind of on its way out, and I think with them canceling this year. By the way, I think a lot of these organizations that have canceled their events for later this month and even for April, some events have been canceled. I think it may have been kind of a knee-jerk reaction. I think this thing might not be as bad as people thought as far as this virus, and I think some of them probably shouldn't have canceled. Bree Fit Dance is in the house, and she is a fitness and dance expert. If you want to follow somebody that can provide fitness motivation for you and get you on the right track as far as getting in shape and have a lot of fun doing it, I would definitely follow Bree Fit Dance on all the platforms. Bree Fit Dance on all the platforms, and she's got a wrench. And Jason says, Carlos, okay, I already read that. I came on late. Okay, Baselworld, I read that. Let's see. Sorry, jumping in late. I have been waiting to ask your thoughts on H. Moser watches. Let me pull some up. Give me a moment. Give me a moment here. I'm going to pull up some images. Okay, so here we've got some H. Moser watches here, images. And I'm going to pull up this one here that I like the shape of the case. I'm just looking at the shape of the case. I'm going to pull this watch up real quick and see... see if we can get a look at this. All right. Oh, come on. I don't want that. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I love the shape of the case on this watch. Let's see if is that the only picture they have? What in the heck is going on here? Oh, for crying out loud. You got to go one at a time. I want to see this. I want to see the side view. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like the crown. I like the shape of the case. Wonder how thick that case is. I tell you, in that kind of a price range, you know, that's $13,400. I mean, I think you can spend a little more and you can get a decent Patek dress watch. And if you're looking at, maybe they make some sport watches too, I think I would go another direction personally. I mean, unless you can just get a real deal on one. But that particular watch I was just looking at is an attractive watch. I wonder how thick it is. Here's one at Govberg. Let me see what this looks like, and I'll pull it up and show you here in a second. Here's another watch. I guess that's a rubber strap that's on. I mean, I like the shape of the case. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. Now, please don't tell me that's a steel watch for $99.50. In which case, I would definitely pass. Stainless steel. Yeah, no. No. No, I don't think I'd spend that kind of money for a stainless steel dress watch. There's some gold ones you can buy for that. So no, I'd pass on that probably. Interesting looking watch though. Let's see. Just bought the Omega Speedmaster Pro 300 in blue, compared nicely to my Submariner. My question is, what Grand Seiko would you recommend for somebody new to the brand? I'd really want to know what you're going to wear it for, what your use case is, but I love this 005 GMT. It's nice and thin. It's only 12 mils thick. It can work as an all-arounder. It gives you the GMT functionality. It's got the screw-down crown. Model number is in the description of this video. But I would go to an AD and I would see, touch, and feel them and really look them over and really find one that speaks to you. I think that's my recommendation for any watch purchase. And they have some stunners. They have some gorgeous pieces. So now, compared nicely to my Submariner, are you going to be selling your Submariner and just keep the 300? Selling at the top of the market is always a good move, I think. Not really financial advice, but I think that's always a good move. And Tom's in the house. He says, hi, all. And let's see here. Tom Austin, how are things in Hong Kong? Okay, maybe we'll get a report. Hello, Lady Bree. Cheers from the old world. Your videos are so good. There you go. Yeah, Brianna is pretty amazing. Let's see. Jason says to David Williams, given we are smaller wrist size, I'm debating between Datejust 36 or 41 fluted. But I would get Jason the 36. The Datejust 36 is a gorgeous watch. I'd get one with a Jubilee and a fluted white gold bezel and call it a day. And you could probably get a nice used one for a good price if you don't want to go for the new. And David says 36 mil all day, no question. And Briefit Dance says thank you. So there you go. Let me see let me just check through my tabs here and see if there's anything else I was going to show. Oh, well, speaking of Briefit Dance, let's show her homepage. That's one thing we can do. There's Brianna's homepage, briefitdance.com, briefitdance.com. And she's kind of stunning. That's the way that is. That's the way that works. And she is a fantastic dancer and nice young lady. And she's serious about her future and about saving and investing. She's already saving Bitcoin. And she says she will never sell her Bitcoin. She says she's going to have a strong hand and hold her Bitcoin. So that is the lovely Brianna. And this is her website. It's got links to all her social media. So just go to briefitdance.com. briefitdance.com and find her Patreon. Hey, sign up for at least a $5 Patreon. Come on, guys. You can afford that. Sign up as a $5 Patreon. Help the young lady create some exciting content. Let's see. Keeping the sub, it's a Mint 5508. There you go. I love the fact how you love your Grand Seiko. What your thoughts on just Seiko watches around $2,000? I'll tell you, Steve has shown some really nice, though they Presage, I forget the name of them, but some really nice high-end Seikos that he has at his places. He showed them on some of his broadcasts. Next time I'm over there, I'm going to take a closer look at some of those. I had the Shogun. Is it SBDC007? I think that's the model. The Seiko Shogun, the titanium diver, that I had for a couple of years, and that was an amazing watch. The only reason really I sold it and got the 231 Stunner is it ran slow, and I cannot abide a watch that runs slow. So that's why I got rid of the SBDC007. It just wasn't that accurate, and it ran slow. If it was fast and not that accurate, I can kind of live with that a little more, but when it's slow and not that accurate, yeah, I just kind of like moved on. But it was a super nice watch other than that. Let's see. David Williams, pretty crazy. Schools have been closed all month. Let's go. People working from home. Most people are wearing masks outside. Tom in the house giving us a report from Hong Kong. First show in a long time. Kyle's in the house. It has been a little while. And I'm going to be coming into my busier time of the year. And but I will try to do shows. Steve has promised to do shows more frequently because he, I think, is now finally settled into his new abode, his home. And he's all that transition of, I think he sold 2 different homes and a boat and moved into this beautiful place. And hopefully that's all done. And so now he can do more shows. Yeah, and I do have a link to littletreasury.com in the notes of this broadcast, so you can take a look at that and definitely talk to Steve. He's got some beauties. And let's see, here's another tip for Jason. Go 36 mil. It wears bigger than you should know. Try it on before deciding. I mean, for years, we wore 36 mil Rolex watches. I wore the Date 8s for years, and they were all 36 mil, and I would not want a bigger Date 8. I don't think I'd want the Date 840. I really don't think I would. The Date 836 is a gorgeous freaking piece. The Date Chest 36 is a gorgeous freaking piece. This proclivity for people to move towards these huge dress watches and all-around watches. Now, again, I will make an exception for a straight-up sport watch. That watch is 44 mils. And when I'm wearing that, when I'm wearing rolled-up sleeves or a polo shirt or something, I think the thing works great on my wrist. I think it looks great. But when I'm dressed like I am now, the last thing I want to have is a huge watch on wrist. This watch is 38.5 mils, and I wouldn't want anything any bigger than this for an all-arounder to be used under a dress cuff. And again, I have a decent sized wrist. So when I see people wearing a suit like I'm wearing now and they're wearing some huge watch, I think it looks ridiculous. I think it looks terrible. That would be a no-fly zone for me. Let's see here. The mask really don't do much. Raises hysteria. It's not uncommon here to wear a mask without the virus around, to be fair. The protests have also started again. Okay. Craig, what about the Seiko Prospex LX Spring Drive? Some of those Prospect Spring Drives are not that much cheaper than a Grand Seiko, so I would kind of look and see, what the price point difference is to step into a Grand Seiko. But I think some of them are very interesting, for sure. I would keep an open mind and I would look them over, for sure, and just see if it gets the job done for you. Let me think what else. Let me go through the tabs one more time here and just make sure we're not missing anything. Let's see here. And we talked about the 002. We talked about the fact that I have no new information on the 002 as to whether or not Steve is going to get one in stock for me to see, touch, and feel. So I have nothing. I've heard crickets on that puppy. So there you go. And that was the stunner that I had that I sold, the 038. I don't know why that was in a tab. Let's see what else I've got here. And that's the Patek that Carlos had that we talked about last show. That gorgeous 5196J. 5196J, that's a stunner. Let's see what else, what other tabs I had open here. Oh, this was the watch that the Wagster had. The Bark Finish Date 8. Talk about a beautiful 36 mil watch. I mean, there you go. That's a stunner for just about $9,000. Now, it depends on the condition of that bracelet, how much stretch is in that bracelet. But if there's not much stretch in that bracelet, that's a heck of a deal. Let's see what else we got here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. And by the way, we did a little bit of sorting out of Steve's audio issues, and I think we got them sorted out. So hopefully the next broadcast, Steve will have his audio issues worked out again. Somehow he turned on one of his HDMI inputs, and it was pulling audio in from one of the cameras, and that is not good. Let's see here. Go to Best Quartz Watch to have. Go to Best Quartz Watch to have old stock preferred. Tikan. I'm not sure what you're asking there. True, pollution/smog might be bad there. Glad you're not in Beijing. Yeah. Sorry about being late. Dealing with the crazy volatile stock market. I'm exhausted. Glad to have you back. There you go. Yeah, it's a wild day. Wild day. And the stock market pumped and Bitcoin pumped today. So, yeah. And Bitcoin right now, I'm showing 89.46. 89.46. So up about 5%. So I don't know if we put in the bottom. I think we might have another dip down. I mean, I think we might go down as low as $7,000. I don't think we're going to go down to 5,000 again. I don't think we're going to see 5,000 again. And I actually bought some more Bitcoin a couple days ago on the fire sale prices they were having. So, yeah, I think that we'll see. As we come up on the halving, we'll see what happens. We'll see if we get another nice dip down, another nice buying opportunity. But I think this year, it's very, very possible, and again, this is not financial advice, this is just my opinion. I think it's very, very possible this year that that we may have the last opportunities to buy Bitcoin between $7,000 and $10,000 in that range. I think this year could be the last opportunity to do that, period. So we'll see. Let's see. Tom in the house, I know you're not generally a stock investor, but do you have any good ideas in what to invest in if the market goes down and bargains can be had? We'll talk about that. Let's see. Mutual fund. There you go. Chip, did you buy any Apple stock back? No, I didn't. I didn't buy Apple stock back. And I am still, even with this big pump today, I am still not that comfortable with the stock market right now. And I've got money on the sidelines. I've had money on the sidelines. And I'm just concerned that things are overheated still. And I think this virus thing was a thing, right? That beat up the market, for a week. And yeah, we had all those pullbacks and all that. But I think it's going to pass, and I don't think it's really a thing. I think it's going to be gone, and we're not going to have to worry about it. But I think there are other problems, and I think the market is kind of overheated anyway. And I think Warren Buffett has a bunch of money on the sidelines, so I don't think I'm going to second guess what he's doing. So I've got some money on the sidelines, and I did buy some more Bitcoin. over the past week or so when it really dipped down there. I did a little bit of bottom feeding there. So yeah, I'm not that keen on the stock market right now. I guess it can just keep going up and up and up and up. I guess it can forever. I mean, okay, they'll keep printing money and quantitative easing, right? But I think the party's going to end, and it might be after the election. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think there might be. I'm looking for a 20 to 30% pullback is what I'm looking for to then start buying. And that we didn't have enough of a pullback on this most recent one. For me, I'm looking for more. I'm looking for more, so it may not happen, but that's okay. We shall see. Let's see. Hello, I wish to buy Grand Seiko GMT blue or black. Don't know yet. Looks big on pictures. Despite the size, what do you think about this model? Well, Grand Seiko GMT, which model are you buying? You're buying this one? If you're buying this one, it's about 38.5 mils, I think, and it's about 12 mils thick, and you can see the size of it on my wrist. Okay. So it's a pretty decent size. I wouldn't call it small. I wouldn't call it big. I'd call it just about right for an all-arounder. So depending on the size of your wrist, they definitely have some GMTs with the 9F movement that I think would fit very nicely for you. The nice thing about the 9F movement is there are a lot of those watches are very, very trim, very, very nicely sized for all-around use. Let's say I won't disagree with you on another pullback. Possibly test the 28.8 level we tested in the fourth quarter of 2018, which would be a 22% correction. Good to know. Hard to tell how things will go. SBGN003. Yeah, the 003 or the 005, I think, are very nicely sized watches. Steve sells a lot of them, and he's got a lot of happy campers that have bought those watches. So either the 003, which is this same watch but with the black dial. This has the dark blue dial. Either one. Let me show you some more pictures of the 005. Again, here's David's with the strap. With the strap, let me go back here to the album, show you some more pictures. And there it is on wrist. There it is on his wrist with the strap. Okay. And let's see. And here's mine compared to his. Mine on the bracelet and David's on the strap. We go full screen with that. So there's a nice comparison of one with the bracelet and one with the strap. And again, that's the 005 model. So, yeah. It's a stunner. It's a straight up stunner. And this photo here kind of shows you, the shape of the case. Very, very attractive shape of the lugs. The very attractive brushing. A very attractive crown. They got it right on that puppy. They got it right. What if the market doesn't go down? You'll keep more cash. Tom in the house. I might buy some more real estate. I'm just not buying into the market right now with it as high as it is. Yeah, I'm just kind of taking a little break. There are other things I can buy. Okay, like if there's another big dip in Bitcoin, I might buy a bunch more Bitcoin. That's a possibility too. Let's see here. And yeah, you can buy some stocks that have good dividends. Those are possibilities. There are things you can do with money. Looks big on his wrist. David's wrist. David, can you put in the chat, is yours wrist 6 3/4? What size is your wrist? I thought it looked okay on his wrist. I wouldn't want anything any bigger on his wrist. It's not a small watch, not by any means, but I think it's a, I mean, here you're seeing it on my wrist. I think it looks pretty good on my wrist, the size. Okay, my wrist right now is about 7.25 inches. So, but yeah, you should really try it on. Let's see, if you could get the SBGX061 for $1,200 USD, would you still buy the SBGN005 for $3,500? Well, I didn't pay $3,500. I got a good deal on it. $3,500 is over sticker price. I think sticker's like 32, isn't it? So yeah, I wouldn't pay that. But SBGX061, let's check that. Okay, I'm pulling one up that's on eBay. There's one on eBay for $1,200 shipped. That's that model. And there are some great deals on some 9F movement Seikos on eBay. Oh, so that one is, I guess that's sold. Does that mean it's sold? Oh, wait, see details. Here we go. Okay, no, it's available. So it's available for $1,180 and ships from Japan. Okay, and so let's take a look. Looks pretty decent. It's got some use, but that's fine if you're going to buy it to use it. Yeah, there's some nice deals. There's some nice deals on some 9F Grand Seikos. Now, I like the 2017 and newer dial with the Grand Seiko at the top, personally. But, you know, if you want a deal, I mean, this one's 37 mil, which is a nice size. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything negative about that watch. I do like my 005 better. I do prefer it. And I will pay extra to get a unit box and papers from an AD here in the U.S. I will pay more. But I did buy my 18 karat gold stunner on eBay and got lucky, got a great watch. I've since sold it to a subscriber. So yeah, I think that if you want a bargain, I think buying one of those 9F movement GS's off eBay is a definite possibility. Definite possibility. And if you get a good one, and hopefully you'll buy from a reputable seller, so if you don't, you can return it. But if you get a good one, I mean, the 9F is super robust. It's going to hold up. Okay, so David Williams, 6.25 inch, yeah. Okay, could you please bring up the SBGK005G? I'm doing it here. Give me a moment. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's a stunner. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's a stunner. What I don't like, I don't necessarily like the small seconds hand, and I don't necessarily like having the power reserve on the dial. But neither of those would be a deal killer for me. It's still a gorgeous watch. And in actual use, the fact that it has the power reserve, you tune that out with use. I mean, it doesn't really bother you. But I like the straight up 3-second, 3-hand unit, more like this design. That's my preferred design. Now the problem is, let's take a better picture of it. The problem is that the steel version of that watch right there that you're seeing is a limited edition, and they're getting pretty hard to find. I think there was one on eBay recently. Steve is sold out. So the steel version of that watch is getting pretty tricky to find. But that would be my preferred way to go, would be that particular watch. If I didn't want to go for the 18 karat gold, which is the one that I'm considering, is that unit right there, an 18 karat gold. But if I didn't want to go for that, I'd probably try to find that particular watch in steel. If I wanted steel. Yeah. On your wrist is just spot on, okay? Just looked at VIG, looks good and conservative. I am able to wear some 42s, have an Omega PO, which fits fine. Okay, Thomas, fantastic track record. SBGX061, lovely watch, but no lume on it. Tom says, I'm really ready for brands to unveil their new releases. Did you see Steve's broadcast with his new releases? Some of them look pretty cool. Let's see here. Our WAGs really went up today. It's still good value. Don't show off the SBGX061 watch on eBay. I might want to get it now. It's being seen by 100 plus people. Well, there's only 35 watching now. So there you go. According to my counter here. Let's see. Okay. Case size is measured out in millimeter. Wrist size is measured out in inches. Is that not funny? Good point. How often to change a battery, and can you do local on 005? I don't think it's that hard to change the battery. I think anybody can do it for you. You might even be able to do it for yourself, and should have to do that about every 3 years. And the batteries are readily available. So it shouldn't be a big issue. I love that blue dial. Thomas in the house. Yeah, the 005 is a stunner. Let me pull up the shot of it. Give me a moment with the sun just hitting that dial just right. I've got a pretty cool shot that demonstrates that. You find it here. Where's the shot that I want to show you? This one's pretty good. Let me make this one. Let me bring this puppy up here. There we go. Yeah, that's the shot I'm talking about. When it was out in the sun and just caught the sun just right, and that blue really pops out sometimes. Now, a lot of the times it looks almost black. It's very dark blue depending on the lighting, but sometimes that blue just kind of pops. And that was one of those moments I went ahead and snapped the photo. Let's see here. And I got to wrap up here pretty soon. Starting to yawn. I'm hungry. Let's see here. I have the SBGX061 fabulous watch running around plus 0.5 seconds since I got it on 17 January. There you go. SBGX061. Let me find that one. Oh, for crying out loud. I hate these things that pop up with all kinds of nonsense. Anyway, there's the watch in question. Good looking stunner. Good looking stunner. Let's see here. I saw Macy's gives a 11% dividend. Wow. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay, and let's see. Don't buy Macy's dividend at risk to be cut. There you go. Should I sell my Omega Speedmaster reduced for $1,500 for the Grand Seiko SBGX061? I'm not a Speedmaster fan, so I wouldn't have a Speedmaster. I wouldn't want to wear one. So I'd have no interest in a Speedmaster. So I would definitely take any Grand Seiko over a Speedmaster. Because I buy my watches to wear, and I would not wear a Speedmaster. So therefore, I'd have no use for one. Okay, I imagine retail will suffer if the virus situation worsens in the USA also. I would think so. Let's see. Admin reviews in the house. He says, hi, Craig. Hi, all. There you go. Let's see. Last question. As you have Rolex and Grand Seiko, do you think it's the same quality? Bracelet, I want less service and longevity, and rest put in bullion coins. Well, I sold my Rolex more than a year ago, and I am a happy camper. I love both of my Grand Seikos. I wear them all the time. It would be very difficult for me to go back to Rolex because of the accuracy of both of these. That Spring Drive diver is just super accurate, super comfortable on wrist. Just checks all the boxes. The bracelet is amazing. Like I say, just the finishing of it and everything, it just makes it very, very comfortable. The way everything's rounded, and they just nailed it. And the same thing with this watch. This watch is just a gorgeous piece, this 005. So, yeah, I'm not looking back. I'm very pleased. As a matter of fact, the only thing I'm considering right now is another 18-karat gold dress watch, and that's where the 002 would come in. This stunner here, and that would kind of round out everything. I'd have no need for anything at that point if I had a 18-karat gold stunner dress watch, and then the all-around, the 005 as an all-around travel watch / dress / do-it-all watch, and then the heavy-duty sport watch, Spring Drive diver. I think I would have all bases covered at that point. Macy's also closed some stores. There you go. I wouldn't sell the Speedy reduced for that little buddy. Yeah, I wouldn't keep a Speedmaster around for any purpose. I don't believe we're on the moon, and that is my problem with Speedmasters. Well, they're just not a very good watch. I would just pass on that. Macy's owns some very valuable property in New York, San Francisco, etc. There you go. If they can sell it for a good price, it's definitely a quality watch for $1,500. I have a Seamaster 2017, a Speedmaster, Sapphire Snowflake, okay, a Seiko Snowflake, Speedmaster. What should go first? I guess you mean a Grand Seiko Snowflake. Or do you mean I don't know what the Seiko Snowflake is. Yeah. So if you have a Grand Seiko Snowflake, I would keep that, and I would get rid of everything else and then just wear the Snowflake. Snowflake is super comfortable because of the titanium. I'll go back to this shot. So yeah, you need to clarify there what you mean by Seiko Snowflake. If that was a Grand Seiko Snowflake, yeah, that would be the real deal. That would be the way to go. I think I'm going to wrap it up, folks. Thanks again for watching, and Chip says, I know you're getting hungry. Thanks for the broadcast. Very interesting as always. Have a nice dinner. I will do that. And I'm going to beat you to the punch. Hey, everybody, click the little like thing and click the bell so that you get a notification next time we go live. And we'll do one final time check before we wrap out of here on the SBGA231 Stunner. And links are in the description. Links are in the description. Check those out. Again, thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for watching.